Yes.
Okay, who's doing the interview
I
here?
think we're gonna pop questions out. Bill, you wanna start?
Okay.
All right, it is recording.
Okay.
Perfect.
Let's see.
Well, who's here today, first of all?
Well, this is May, what is today?
29th, right?
May 29th, 2019,
There you go. Good idea.
Let's start with a 10.
and we're in Fremont.
And we have Bill and me, Becky and Jess and Chris and Ben and Mike in the audience. We're the interviewers.
The doggos.
And Domino
Yeah.
and
Pepper.
And Pepper.
Pepper.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
We have enough room, I guess, right?
We have-
Yes.
been married almost 58 years,
Wow.
and we have lots to tell. So pick the things you'd like to hear.
And pick strategically.
That can be done in this little amount of time and in short snippets. Okay. What's some of the stuff that you guys know that we as your kids don't know that you would want to pass along to us? Let's start with something like that. It's a little tough question.
Kind of,
Probably things about our youth that we haven't talked
Okay,
about.
well,
So I'll let
Let-
Mom
let-
start with where she grew up and that kind of stuff.
Like with your sisters and whatnot?
I grew up in a little town in North Carolina until I was 15 years old. And then my father had to change his profession because we had had a drought and recession, and he lost his business.
And that
So
business
he
was-
had to, it was, he owned a car dealership and a restaurant and a couple of service stations, actually. He ended up having to sell everything just to pay off his debts. And he had to start again, and he was in his 40s. And they decided that they would go to Alaska, and he knew that he could make a lot of money in a short amount of time. And so he went there. Mother went with him, and she stayed in Fairbanks and worked for a Christian lady who owned a furniture store. And my father went out into the tundra and worked in construction and did all kinds of work out in the boonies. It was wilderness, but it paid well, and he was able to save a lot of money. And as soon as they were able to get enough, they flew into New York, where me and my two younger sisters were living with an uncle and aunt. And they decided to settle in New York City. And he started a company there and did well. But
Tell them about how
I
you
was
felt about moving to
15
New
years
York.
old when I moved there. We were, I was from a town of 500, and I moved to New York City and went to a school of 5,000. So the change was enormous. It was also desegregated. Meant everybody went to the same school, and I loved it because I never understood the other stuff. Even though I was raised in the South, I never understood that. And I'm great as a Christian because my mother was a wonderful Christian. My father went to church periodically, but he insisted that we go. And so I grew up learning about God and knowing that these kinds of values were so different than what was going on there. But eventually, of course, thank God that changed, but it was after I left. So I grew up, went to the high school, and I took a Latin class, and in walked this gal that I knew, Christian girl, Dottie, and she happened to be a really good friend, and she is Bill's sister. So we got to know, we were good friends, and we also belonged to a Christian teen Bible club, and it was interdenominational, and we went to that, and Bill went to it as well. I came from the Baptist church, he came from the AG church, and but there were loads of other people from Presbyterian, Methodist, just all the different denominations, but it was a great program to teach teenagers how to serve the Lord, and we really grew a lot from that, even though I wasn't the best student.
So that's how we met in high school. But I was born within New York City, and then at 5 years old, we moved out to a rural area on Long Island. I went to school I never went to kindergarten. I only went first grade to junior high out in a semi-rural area. We had 2 acres, and my father had chickens as a hobby, and he had up to 500 chickens as a hobby.
Wow.
So, and we would sell them for meat and stuff like that. So I got used to taking care of chickens and learning how to prepare chickens for sale, which means killing them and cleaning them and all those good things. And it just became common to us to do that. But after junior high, my father was commuting so much, and the area was growing so much that the traffic was getting worse and worse. And so he decided to move into the city. So from the school that I was in Long Island, it was very similar to Grandma's situation, is that it was a very small school. There were probably 2 full classes in my grade level, and that would be maybe 60 people, 60 kids. And in the grade level, when I came to Flushing, and we went to the school in the city, there was probably well over 1,000 in my class, okay? So we had this monster change, but at that point in time, I was 1 grade ahead of Grandma, so, but we would meet at lunch and have lunch together with other Christians, as well as going to the Bible study. And then later on, how we met, when we had met, obviously, and we knew each other, but she went out with her boyfriends, and I went out with my girlfriends, and that was in high school. And then I went to college. I was accepted into Columbia, Cornell, and Dartmouth, and I decided to go to Columbia because they gave me a 4-year full ride scholarship. So I had no tuition for 4 years, and so I liked that. And anyway, so the first year I played on a football team. I joined the football team. I really didn't play. All I did was sit on the bench, but that was good because I never got my head banged around. So anyway, I was okay. Anyway, what happened during my senior year is that in the spring, it was at my sister's birthday. Dottie